Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR Today for Friday morning, August 5th, 2022. The man they call Meathead, and a man who likes to rock out with his socks out, Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
It depends on how high or low my pants are. You know, sometimes if my pants fit a little bit high, you'll see my socks. So I guess they'll technically be out.
Rocking out with his socks out. I like it. All right, Matthew, we've got news to get into. We've got Rampage and Smackdown tonight and Battle of the Belts 3 tomorrow night on TBS or TNT. We're going to check on that in just a second. But first off, before you go wearing your socks, what should you be wearing from our friends at Collar and Elbow?
Collar, and they dropped a new shirt, I believe, yesterday. It's a Texas Deathmatch shirt, I believe. If it's not new, it's new to me. Head on over to collarandelbowbrand.com, look at the Texas Deathmatch shirt, and look at the rest of the collection. And if you decide to press that buy button, which I know you're going to do, enter promo code Linda K, Linda.
Talk longer so I can press the buy button.
KAY saves you 10% off. LINDA KAY translates to 10% off of your Collar and Elbow order at collarandelbowbrand.com.
Wow. Okay. They got the mirror collection. They got the one that's coming for the man they call Meathead called the Work It Stiff shirt. They've also got, like I said, they've got the Tiger Driver 98. They got the Good Brothers one. The world famous Good Brothers one is something I would consider as well. That and the Parts Unknown, but I don't want to scare my kids with the devil on the shirt. So, the Texas Deathmatch Collar and Elbow now out there. It's the skull and a cowboy hat. Really, it's a lot of the same kind of logos that have been refreshed with the CXE on the sleeve, but some new ones as well. And getting that tank top, the mirror tank top is out there as well. So big fan of the Collar and Elbow. Make sure you're getting on over there. Linda K, LINDA KAY, saving you at 10%. Okay, Matthew, let us talk about a little bit of news. So, Matthew, let me ask you, have you been keeping up on WWE's Biography?
Yes, I think I'm all current, Meathead.
Okay. Coming up this Sunday is the total package, Lex Luger. Now, we all know that Lex Luger, unfortunately, is in a wheelchair and has been confined to a wheelchair for a pretty long time. The story that's coming up from Biography says he would attempt to walk on stage if he ever got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's encouraging to hear. And man, it just, because these biographies are done hand in hand with the WWE, I wonder if we're not too far away from that.
Let me ask you this. What was the name of that series that was out there where we saw Yokozuna? I think we saw, was it Molly Holly? And then there was supposed to be a Lex Luger one coming up that never appeared.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was something on the network. I don't know if they'd gone over to
It was like 6 of them. Yeah, it was like 6 of them.
That might have been right as they went to Peacock. But yeah, they had a slated date for it and everything. Man, I think it was last year because I remember being away on vacation and trying to because I thought the Lex Luger one was going to come out. There was a Kevin Nash one, right?
Yeah, a matter of fact, there was a Kevin Nash one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And you're right. It got scrapped, or maybe it wasn't a Kevin Nash one. I know they moved his Stone Cold thing around.
Beth Phoenix had one. I do remember watching the Beth Phoenix one.
Yeah,
I remember being how proud of her, because she was this Polish princess, and that she got into WWE. But what happened to those? I gotta wonder, Matthew, and I'll get to this in a second. I gotta wonder if a lot of that interview footage comes from that one that just never got aired. Here's why I say that. I absolutely love the Rivals that aired this last week between Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. There was nothing from Brock Lesnar after 2003. All of that interview footage was from 2003.
Yeah. No, you're spot on. There was that one interview, same setting, not even Brock in different places in 2003. That one time they got to interview him in 2003.
Yeah. So, did Brock not, stay friends with Kurt Angle, or does he just choose not to do the interviews anymore? Who's to say?
Well, dude, he might not have internet reception at that farm.
I'm pretty sure Brock's got enough to be able to pull down a satellite dish of his own and get something going there. So
yeah, but that satellite internet can be kind of spotty sometimes.
Fair enough. All right. So coming up this Sunday, Lex Luger on A&E Biography. That's 2 hours of Lex Luger. He said he's in phenomenal shape, except for his mobility issues, due to his spinal cord injury.
Yeah, so this honestly, Meathead's probably the one that I'm looking the most forward to watching, just because
Out of
a lot
the
of these
recent 6 or the recent 8, yeah, I'm curious on the Lex Luger one as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you haven't gotten a ton of angle stuff out there, but Luger, I mean, you haven't had many biographies. I mean, WWE really hasn't done much with him over the years, and I mean, you stop and think, like a lot of these biographies and stuff that have come out, these were initially WWE produced DVDs, and then they made the way to the network and network special. So Luger is just somebody that really has not been touched on this. I don't think there was ever a Luger book to my knowledge. So yeah,
And
I'm
we
really
need to
excited to watch
hear.
this.
Actually, we need to hear, because let's be completely upfront here, and I hope it's addressed, and how it'll be addressed is really what we're curious to see. Elizabeth was in his care and with him when she died.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, imagine now it was. I guess when I'm thinking about stuff on that, we probably got that in the Dark Side of the Ring, right? That was the Elizabeth Dark Side of the Ring, right? Because I
Yeah.
know it's been touching on something. I'm pretty sure that's where that was. But no, I mean, listening to Luger and his recounts of that, I mean, I think that's a big portion of why people are tuning in.
Yep. So Lex Luger this Sunday on A&E Biographies. Did they say who the rivals was this week as well?
The rivals is WWF versus WCW in the Attitude Era.
I'm gonna watch it, because my name isn't WWE Meathead; it's WCW Meathead. However, haven't we done it already? Haven't we been there? Haven't we had multiple packages and interviews? How much more can we go over it?
A lot. I mean, it's something I'll always tune in for this.
I'm always going to tune in as well.
I'll always tune in for the Montreal Screwjob, but I think they're kind of in the same ballpark in the fact that you've covered just about every angle.
Hey, let me ask you something. You just triggered something that I meant to ask you. You watched the Ric Flair pay-per-view late.
Mm-hmm.
When the ref took a bump at the end, when it was Mike Chioda, he took his bump in the Ric Flair and Andrade versus Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett match, and they're looking for a ref. Did you not think Earl Hebner was coming?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, you're thinking about who they could hire and who they would, what it would cost them. Like, yep. Oh, this is right in Earl's wheelhouse.
Absolutely. No. And then when they said the first thing they said, and when I saw, man, now I've forgotten who was it that actually came in to count.
Apparently it was an original NWA/WCW referee.
Yeah. But man, like his stride and the way he was running, I thought for a second it was Earl.
Maybe Earl didn't come because he heard Brett was there.
Oh.
Because I mean, Earl and Brett and Sean made up, but did Earl and Brett make up?
I've seen a picture, but I mean, the picture only tells part of the story.
No, this was tailor-made for Earl Hebner to show up to. Something to think about, though. All right, let's talk about the wrestling for tonight and for tomorrow. We're going to start off with Smackdown, and Smackdown is coming, right? I mean, Smackdown is coming post Summerslam. This will be the first time. Now, there has been some notes out there that Ronda Rousey has been suspended for her altercation with the referee, but I think we're going to get more on that tonight. Yeah. There's going to be more development, I think, with the Usos, and do they get a new tag team to go after? What does Roman Reigns got to say after he's defeated Brock Lesnar, even though Brock Lesnar lifted up the corner of the ring and tried to kill him?
Yeah, I mean, you've got your SummerSlam fallout, and what I'm really curious about, does it have a different fingerprint on it, like I felt like Raw did earlier this week? I mean, having basically 3 matches on Raw that were for a reason, that was for a chance to wrestle for number 1 contendership for a title in a match is going to happen next week. That's not Raw booking the last decade.
Do you think they do the same thing to the Intercontinental Championship, like they did to the US belt?
It's very, very possible. I mean, my goodness, Meathead, we got a package on the history and the importance.
Well, I'll show you a package.
The total package, Lex Luger on Biography.
Right, this Sunday. Right, exactly. What did you think I was saying? Yeah, exactly, Lex Luger. So, I'm kind of curious, and I'm interested. Of course, I'm going to watch. I mean, because that's what we do. But after that, where does Liv Morgan go? Now, Liv Tyler, obviously. Liv Morgan, where does she go? What's her next competitor? Because if Ronda gets suspended, where does she go? And, Is there going to be more explanation to the Austin Theory, not failed cash in, because he never cashed in, but attempted cash in and then stopped? Does he try to cash in tonight? Does he cash in on Monday? I mean, who's to say?
Interesting. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of questions that are unresolved that you need answered.
Yeah, remember, we've got Drew McIntyre as the #1 contender now for Roman Reigns at Clash at the Castle, too, on Labor Day weekend. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move our way into AEW for tonight. And it's a double weekend or a double show weekend for AEW. They've got Rampage tonight and Battle of the Belts tomorrow. And in my little preview, I'm looking at a very, very beautiful picture of Madyson Rayne, who debuts on Rampage tonight.
It was very interesting to hear that announcement on Dynamite. Yeah, I had not heard anything of it. And yeah, I mean, that's worth tuning in to Dynamite or to Rampage by itself.
I wonder if she gets a match. I wonder if she just talks. Is she the head of the women's division? Who's to say? How about Jon Moxley and the winner of the Bunkhouse Battle Royal, Mance Warner, in an AEW Championship Eliminator match?
You know what? I mean, it's nice to know that that the Battle Royal had some fruits.
So you're saying if the kid with the fanny pack would have won that match, he'd be facing Jon Moxley tonight?
Oh, absolutely.
Cal, I love you, but stay away from Moxley, dude. I don't need to see you bleed.
Yeah, I'm glad he kept his distance from Nick Gage too.
Oh my God! I mean,
it'd be cool if he was with Nick Cage, though. I'd be okay with him hanging out with Nick Cage,
like Nick Cage from Street Fighter.
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat.
That's true. Or Nicolas Cage.
Or Nicolas Cage, right? Or Nicolas Coppola, because that's his real last name. If you didn't know that.
Or Francis Ford Coppola as well.
I don't know if you knew that. Nick Cage is his father is Francis Ford Coppola.
What?
Did you not know that?
I did not know that. Really?
Nick Cage's real name is Nick Coppola.
Dude,
and his dad is Francis Ford Coppola.
I had no idea.
Do you know how you can find this out for sure without the internet? Watch the credits to Fast Time at Ridgemont High. Because Nicolas Cage is in that movie. But Nicolas Coppola is what he's credited as.
You're just a wealth of knowledge.
And by the way, during the summer, my PSI is usually pretty high. It's around 38, 40. And during the winter, the PSI is a little bit lower because with the cold air, it gets into the mid 30s.
That would make sense because, I mean, you got to make sure you're adapting to your season.
You didn't think I'd have that answer for that, did you?
I did.
Folks that tuned in yesterday already got the answer with Linda and I, but Matthew, I had to bring that full circle to you. If you're going to leave a question out there for the man they call Meathead, he's going to answer it.
So there's somebody at a filling station right now that's got a little notebook that just wrote down what you said and making sure that they're inflated exactly the same way you're inflated.
Do you think he's got that little tester with the plastic stick that shoots out?
Oh, without a doubt. That's the only way to be. I trust those much more than I do on the ones on the actual air dispenser at gas stations. I always bring my own tester.
My car is smart enough to honk. I don't know about your car, but when I'm filling air in a tire, it'll go burp. That'll tell you when it's time and you're done. Take the thing off.
Ooh, that's absolutely space age. And I'll tell you what, if a gas station wants my business, I will drive all the way across town and pay a little bit more for gas in a place that gives me free air.
That's right. Free air it is. And, don't be that jackass that doesn't roll up your cord at the end. Make sure you wrap that damn thing up.
Or you leave it, leave it in front of it and go and just peruse around the store.
Yeah, No, I will also be the guy that goes across town to go to a car wash that has free vacuums.
That's a big one.
Yep, and pay a little bit more for the car wash because you vacuum the car out first. You get it nice and clean on the outside or on the inside, then you clean your outside. It's like taking a dump before you take a shower.
So, Meathead, I used to have a car wash directly by where I live, and then the car wash got torn down. And yesterday, I was driving home, and there's a sign of what's coming there. Guess what? A car wash. They tore one car wash down to build another car wash. Bing! So there you go.
Bing! Working at the car wash. Okay. Let's talk about AEW wrestling because that's what you tune in for, not to hear me talking about taking a shit then taking a shower.
Yeah, they do.
Tonight on Rampage, we've got Madyson Rayne debuting. We got Jon Moxley and Mance Warner in a tag team match. We've also got Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, the AEW Tag Team Champions, taking on Tony Nese and Josh Woods. Now, Josh Woods, for those that don't know, is the guy that laid out Keith Lee last week when Swerve Strickland had his singles match.
So when they cut to this on Dynamite the other night, you know, just the angle they went in, it looked like Keith Lee was just taking a little nap. Like Keith Lee knocked unconscious. Looks like a very comfortable and slumber.
I mean, he's like a teddy bear, like a bear, just hibernating.
He looked. I know he was supposed to be knocked out, but he looked like very peaceful.
All right, so that is Rampage tonight. But folks, we've also got more AEW tomorrow night. It is Battle of the Belts 3, and here are the matches. It looks like the main event will be Claudio Castagnoli taking on, and I apologize because I haven't gotten his name down yet, but it's Konosuke Takeshita, the guy that's really looked good in that Battle Royal to determine a #1 contender for the Ring of Honor World Championship. You've also got Thunder Rosa and Jamie Hayter for the AEW Women's Championship, and that's probably why Jamie Hayter got the pin on Thunder Rosa. And then finally, Wardlow and Jay Lethal for the TNT Championship. Are any belts changing hands?
I don't think so. I think Jamie Hayter's going to have the title at some point. I don't think it's quite right now, but at the very least, what I like about what we saw the other night and what we are going to see this weekend is you are getting her, you know, in a prominent spot. I don't think anything's switching here, Meathead.
Okay. So Wardlow stays strong against Lethal, and Claudio keeps it against Takeshita.
Yeah, I mean,
it's Takeshita.
Yeah, I mean, Lethal, you know, your longest reigning ROH champion. If anybody's going to take a belt, I think it's going to be Lethal. But, I mean, he's got a stable with him. You know, there could be some interference, perhaps.
They've got a little nifty entrance as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it, man. If anything does, I think it's going to be that one. But I think you got to keep Wardlow strong.
Yeah, I don't see any belts changing either. Even though it's the Battle of the Belts, all it means is that there's a big house show that's going on tomorrow night, and 3 of them will be televised. It's kind of like what Saturday night's main event was, where it was a house show, you know, somewhere else, and you had, 10, 12 matches on the card, but maybe 4 of them were actually broadcast on live TV.
You know, one thing that's really interesting about AEW, when you really stop and think about it, like everything that they do is televised. You know, there's not house shows happening off of TV. Like anything that's ever happened in the history of AEW, if you wanted to watch every match,
Tony Khan says there was one show that did not air.
Really?
And it was a match between the match he talks about was Darby Allin and the Butcher. Where that was the one that Darby Allin hurt Butcher's hand, and he was out of his band. He was out of wrestling for a while. He says it was right before the pandemic. It was a show that they went to go do, a house show that never aired. He's got the footage, but it never aired.
Wow. Interesting.
Problem is that we don't have anywhere to go watch any of these matches because they don't have a digital home.
Yeah. Unless you've DVR'd. Well, you could have DVR'd everything, I guess, or taped it, and then you can go to YouTube.
You DVR the YouTube shows too, like Dark and Elevation, or you DVR on those too?
No, what you can do is you can access your YouTube on your smart TV and hook up a VCR and just record off of the VCR.
So you'll be trading tapes outside of pay-per-views now?
Exactly. Oh, dude. I think that could make a resurgence right there. Mm-hmm. Tell Cone, that sounds like a Tony idea. Tony, they are going to film house shows, but it's only available in VHS. Tell me that does not sound like a Tony Khan idea.
That's a Tony Khan idea, and then you put Tony Schiavone working the gimmick table. Or, you know who you go find? Bill Alfonso. He'll work the gimmick table for you. All right, Daddy, check it out here. Right down the middle, I've got Darby Allin, and I've got, I don't know, who's that kid? Morty and Dave. Yeah, they're wrestling. I'll call it right down the middle, Daddy. That was actually Fonzie's job. On air, of course, he was the manager, he was a former referee, a WWE referee, and then an ECW referee, and then the manager, obviously, of Rob Van Dam and Sabu, and I think Taz was in the group too, right? But Fonzie's real job was he worked the gimmick tables. So he was the guy selling the T-shirts, and I don't know if Matthew, have you ever gone on an ECW show?
No.
Okay. So his out front job, on camera was the things I just mentioned, but dude, that dude was at the merch table. That's what he did. He'd jump up and down. He'd blow his whistle over and over, and that drove people over to buy stuff. And there was a lot of tape trading there. I think, honestly, I probably went to 4, maybe 5 ECW shows.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I wasn't allowed to watch ECW, so there's that.
No, ECW loved Milwaukee, and actually we had 2, possibly 3 pay-per-views, a house show, and I think we did a Friday night on TNT or TNN.
Interesting.
Where they taped the ECW on TNN for that Friday night show.
Yeah. Wow.
No, we love ECW loved us and we loved them. One of the best interviews that we cut was Damien interviewed Joey Styles, and I think I was on camera for that night. And I could see Joey pissed off in his face, and you could hear it in the interview. He goes, "Well, here we are, ECW on TNN, and TNN used us like a bitch because they figured out, oh, look at that, wrestling does work on TNN. So, hey, WWE, you mind bringing Raw over?" And they used the ECW as puppets and kicked them off the air.
Yeah. No, that whole situation was pretty screwy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is wrestling. That is PWR Today for the week. Matthew Thomas, I think we are good to go. Are you ready to go back to next week and do it all over again?
Oh, fantastic. I can't wait.
For Linda Kay, who's somewhere, she's not at home, but she's somewhere out on the road. I asked her yesterday morning, when are you coming home? I mean, how many weeks have you gone? You don't have any perishable food in your fridge, do you? So for Linda Kay, for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you Monday morning. So long, everyone.